What's up, everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome to another edition of Track Walk in MX Simulator. And today I'm playing a track that was much requested, or at least fairly much requested, by all of you fine folks in the comment section on the channel. I think this video, or this track was requested, I don't know, 3 or 4 times or something like that. But it's called Cattail MX by a gentleman by the name of Greeney 2021, I believe, 2021 on the forums. And I think it's actually his first track too, which is kind of neat. It's a pretty good first track, and obviously it's good enough that I figured I'd give it a shot. There is some, I feel like, a couple problems, like flow-wise and little things like that, but for the most part, it's not really a big deal. I actually do like this track, and I like that it's got some big floater jumps to throw some big whips on and stuff like that. I know in the past I've been pretty critical of some tracks that have big whipped out jumps like that, and I apologize in advance for all the crashing I'm going to do, trying to be totally awesome, but realistically failing at whipping all the time. But yeah, like I said, normally I guess kind of get on these tracks' case a little bit about being unrealistically big for a simulation game, but this track doesn't bother me that much, even though the jumps are oversized and stuff like that. Ah! Stupid crashing. Anyway, you'll notice I'm still pretty kind of like nasally sounding, and I had made a video last week and then did a live stream last week where I detailed how I'd been quite sick that past week and week and a half or so, and it hasn't gone entirely away yet. I feel great, like I feel fine, but I don't sound perfect yet or anything like that. And in general, I'm also kind of a little bit like tired during the day. I'm on antibiotics, and I'm taking 2 prescription medications to knock down a sinus infection that I have. And yeah, so I just have been kind of wiped out. I mentioned in the last video that I did, which was Anaheim 2 gameplay in MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore, that I was sick, and I also had a job interview, which is kind of an ongoing job interview process for any of you people out there that are maybe looking into, like, getting a career at some point. If you have already done this, or if you haven't, or if you're looking towards the future, when it comes to actually getting a job that is a fairly high-ranking position job like the one I'm going for. And I won't divulge into what that is yet, if I get it, or if I don't get it, and it's eventually official that someone else gets it, or if I do get it, then I will absolutely tell you guys what it is. It's pretty exciting, I think, and hopefully it's a good thing. But anyway, like I said, it's like an ongoing process where, you kind of get interviewed. You have to do a couple things for the people in charge to kind of prove your worth and stuff like that, especially at my age. I mean, I'm only 23. I'm pretty close to 24 years old now, but that's not really an age that people are looking to hire, higher up position people, I guess. That's more of like, even out of college, realistically, that's basic level, associate level, or even entry level job positions that are mostly available. And I did go to college. I have a degree in communication studies from the University of San Diego, so I did spend 4 years getting a good degree and all that, so I feel like I deserve a little bit higher up than just your standard entry level job for sure. But I know that this job that I'm going for currently is not that sort of standard entry level job at all. So hopefully I get it, and when I do, or if I don't, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But I'm kind of bringing that up on the subject that I talked about it in the video a little bit last week, that Vermoto, which I had worked for the past 4 years and 3 months now officially, was in some sort of a lull period, and I guess I can kind of really break down more or less what I feel like happened from my perspective with the company. I'm not going to talk too much personal, and get too much into the real inner workings of it, because a lot of it is sort of private stuff that I don't really want to, and nothing to do with me. I'm just saying, like, the company, there's some private stuff that they don't probably want aired. So I won't discuss too much of that, but I will try to explain to you guys a little bit about it because, you know, Verb was a big deal. Fairly enough that it was probably at some point in time a top 5 for a while media motocross company, YouTube wise, which is not any sort of barrier of entry kind of measurement that you can use. But if you were going to look at that, Verb was actually only 3rd among the major media companies behind Racer X and Transworld for like subscribers and daily counts and stuff like that. But that would make sense because Verb was primarily a video and media company like that, whereas Racer X and Transworld and all these other motocross media companies are magazines and written online content and stuff like that. And when I came in at Verb, my job was to sort of work on expanding those horizons a little bit. With my degree in communication studies, slight emphasis on journalism, and I was doing all this in college working for Verb. They wanted to use my journalistic talents that I possessed to try to reach a better audience through the written word on Verb because we had video and photo quite well covered, as I'm sure you guys knew. You know, Verb was big time in the video and photo department. A lot of the people that actually have pretty good jobs nowadays either got their start or somewhere in the middle of their career at Verb that are photo and videographer type people, because Verb allowed a lot of creative freedom when it came to stuff like that. Anyway, to the point of what happened with it, you know, I worked there from late 2012, and my initial job was to be the coordinator for social media. So every post that went through our social feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, for a while we were on Periscope, we did Vine a little bit, stuff like that. That was going through me on a daily basis, and then when it came to the race weekend, I would be the guy behind Verb's Twitter account, giving, you know, race updates and feedback and conversing with fans, and occasionally getting our Instagram page up to snuff if our photographers were falling behind on posting on that and stuff like that. So that was my initial job, and then it went into an expanded role where I was a staff writer and blogger, and I'd write you know, columns and race reports and stuff like that. And I never really got into the photo and video side of it, but from my perspective, it seemed like we were sort of moving away in a direction I wasn't too pumped on anyway in the beginning. It seemed like now that Verb is officially going out of business and everybody has seen it, a lot of people were like, man, they did the best amateur coverage. And when I came aboard, that's exactly what they were doing, was a gallon and a half of amateur coverage all over the place. Every major event that you could think of. And I think they were trying to expand that by, you know, presenting the Verb Classic, which was a good idea. But it just seemed like there was some funds that we weren't spending in the right spot, and eventually we weren't doing Verb Originals and Verb Selects as much as we used to. And in my opinion, that was just kind of the wrong move, but I wasn't in charge of the business, so I didn't, you know, I wasn't the one making decisions about that. I was just getting my writing stuff done, and whenever they needed stuff written, I was there. And so anyway, the real crux of the whole story is there's been a lot of higher up changes going on at Verb in the past year and a half or so. You guys may have noticed that one of the original founders, Wes Williams, who's usually behind the Verb Platinums, went away from Verb, and that was always kind of a strained relationship. I never really got too much of what happened there, but it just left some, you know, of the guys that were in charge kind of at a loss, and then we got a new CEO, and it was all over the place. And I was holding out hope that I'd still, you know, be able to be the one of the guys that had a future at Verb. You know, I was putting in what I felt some pretty quality work and written work, and asking to write new stories whenever I could, and trying to get involved with Meta, which is a Verb kind of a syndicate thing that was started by one of the other Verb founders, Andrew Campo. And so anyway, that relationship kind of became a strained thing, and I think that was part of the contributing factor. But what the official status quo that I got from the ending of Verb was the guy that really was kind of in charge of things ever since I started there, and what I always considered my boss was Andrew Campo, who was one of the starters at Verb. And And he was the one who ended up writing the like goodbye letter that ended up on Verb's main page. And all this I will post in the description below, so you can go read it yourself if you want to. I mean, I don't know if you really care that much. I'm just kind of explaining what it looked like from my side of the pond, if you will. And he told me, Campo did, about 2 months ago when Verb, he told me, you know, Verb's going to be ending up and closing shop, that he saw a much bigger problem going on than just the fact that, you know, like, the print side of journalism is going away quickly. Magazines are dying, newspapers are dying. It's a known problem, and you can't make as much money really online. You can make good money, but you know, unless you make people pay a subscription-based fee to enter your website, which no motocross company currently does. They make you pay a subscription-based fee to enter their magazine portion of their website, like a Racer X or a Trans World or a Dirt Rider or Motocross Action or whatever. But you can also get the paperback issue of the magazines as well. And then, but like I said, unless you have to pay like a subscription, then you're not making the same type of money that you used to be from only the magazine sales that these companies used to have before online was a thing. So the kind of explanation that I was given about the Verb closure was, and you can read about it in the article that he wrote too, is that there's a changing media landscape, which everybody in the journalism world knows about. Of course it's changing, and we're trying to adapt and trying to get used to the fact that paper is going out the door, and the online media realm is in the process of the takeover now. Like, it's no longer just like, oh, it might happen. It's happening. Like, online is going to be here to stay, and the major media companies are going to have to kind of figure out, maybe, converge on some stuff about whether they want to, require people a subscription to charge, or if they're just going to try to strictly make money off of ad revenue, which is what Verb was doing. That was the primary source of income, was ad revenue by page clicks and hits and stuff like that. And so, Campo gave me this, little story that he had where a girl that was racing at the Verb Classic had come up to him and said, are any of my photos going to be posted on Instagram? And Campo told the girl, no, maybe not, but your photo was on our gallery page on our website. And he said that the girl told her, what website? What are you talking about? And he said that took him back, like, wow, like, they don't even know we have a website. We've been an online source of entertainment and motocross media for almost 10 years, and these people know us by our Instagram page, which is, it's fair enough. Like, we had a YouTube channel. I don't know if they're keeping the Verb YouTube channel or not, but they had a YouTube channel that had 105,000 subscribers on it. But the Instagram page that I helped, manage for a little while, and that the photographers were always posting to, had 370 something thousand followers. So that's over 3 times, almost 4 times as many people that just look at us through YouTube. And I can tell you, based on the daily hits and clicks that were coming to our website, it's like 10 to 15 times more than just our daily website hits. So it makes sense. People only knew Verb as a social media facet in some regards. The Facebook page has 200 something thousand likes, but our Twitter account only has 60,000 followers or something like that. And that's totally because photo and video is much more of a social thing now than than a let's go somewhere and look at it. This YouTube channel that I have here, that I've worked on creating and worked on becoming a big deal, is kind of going to be part of that problem sooner or later, where people are only going to want to look at their videos through Facebook and Twitter because it's happening. I mean, honestly, like, in the comments, I would love to hear you guys, opinion on this. How many of you, when you're scrolling through Facebook now, come across at least 10 to 15 videos every time you're scrolling through Facebook? Like that happens to me every single time. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be political, it could be moto, it could be, you know, you name it. But there's videos there, and they're full-length videos in some aspect, and they're becoming HD videos, and Facebook compresses quality like garbage, but people don't really understand that side of that loses the quality, and they just look at it because it's quick and easy to get to, and people can shove it in their face right away. And there's a lot of money to be made on Facebook with ad revenue, and through Instagram with you know, sponsor deals and sponsored posts and stuff like that too, but not near the amount of revenue that can be made based off of selling ad space on a website, or selling ad space like we have in a video, like, you know, Race Tech sponsoring our videos before, and Fam MX sponsoring some of our videos. You know, that stuff rakes in way more money than just your standard small ad revenue dollars that come off of a Facebook page or something from posting videos there. So, you know, that's kind of the story of what really happened to Verb, is that, you know, social media is starting to really rule the way people get their news. And while there was still a great fan base of people that decided to log into verbmoto.com every day, sometimes they would read my stuff, which I always appreciated it, because it just, you know, was awesome that they would comment on my stuff and tell me that they appreciated my article or anything like that. But there was a far greater audience that was putting eyes on our, you know, Verb's Instagram posts and Facebook posts and stuff like that. And there's just not a lot of money to be made. There is some money to be made. Like I said, it's not totally out of the question that Verb could still be around making a modest but quite a bit smaller profit based off of just social feeds. But without a subscription-based magazine that people are buying into, or a web page that you're selling, you know, ad revenue onto that people are constantly clicking on, which has your ad revenue dollars continuing to go up because you can sell the ad space for higher value, then you're just not making the kind of money that needs to be made in the you know, online media industry. So, you know, that's kind of what happened to Verb. I feel like, you know, people really wanted an explanation, and given that I knew a little bit more about it, I kind of wanted to air out my side of the story. It's a fucking shitty situation for me, because I was, you know, pretty well happy with where I was at Verb and the people I was working with, and I felt like I had a future there and maybe a possible career, and it looked like it was going well. But obviously when the higher ups have an opinion of how the landscape is changing and they want to pursue something else, then that's what they do. You know, that's how it works. I will say I've had some people ask, am I going to be a part of Evergood, which is sort of this spin-off thing that's happening with Verb now. And the answer to that is no. It's a possibility that, you know, if I don't have a job in the near future, that when and if Evergood becomes bigger or big enough to warrant having more written stuff, that I could contribute to it. But right now, Evergood is 110% the newest Verb members. There was a group of 4 guys that were pretty new to the Verb family in the last couple of years. I'm not necessarily saying I'm like an OG Verb guy, because I'm not. There's way more people that were before me at Verb, but the Evergood guys are mostly the people that were 2 years or less into the Verb family, if you will. And I was already 2 years into it when they started there. And so they all connected with each other, and that whole Evergood project anyway is more or less a video and photo kind of featured website kind of thing. So you can certainly check that out. It's just not me. There won't be much of anything for me on there. I don't have any connections at that, other than the people that I did work with, but I'm not actively pursuing a job with that particular website / company or anything like that. So that's the Verb story. Hopefully that kind of makes sense to you guys, and obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions about, whether or not you think that the landscape really is changing like that. I completely understand how it is changing like that, and given the nature of journalism in the world currently, we've talked a lot about it in my collegiate classes, about what the future holds, because it is kind of a scary transition period for journalistic media. And unless you're multifaceted and talented, and you not only can write very well, but you can also shoot video and shoot photo and all that stuff all in one, then you're not gonna be a very successful freelancer, which is why I've taken up the opportunity to try to learn video editing skills and get a camera, start taking photos and stuff like that, because while I don't think I'm the best writer, I sure as hell am a lot better writer than quite a few people that also write in this industry, which is the motocross industry. And I know that my writing skills can take me some places, but unless I know how to do everything, I probably won't get the most ideal job, if you will. So again, let me know in the comments if that makes sense. Also, I didn't talk too much about this track. Like I said, it is pretty straightforward. The jumps are big. The lines are fun. The traction's a little slippery, but overall it's quite well built. But I don't want to keep this video going much longer. This has basically been the what happened at Verb video, but this is another edition of Track Walk here in MX Simulator, and we're gonna have another one coming out this week. Given the fact that I'm behind on content after being sick last week, I'm gonna try to start pushing some more content out. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video on Cattail MX by Greeney 2021 or whatever his name is. And download it in the description below, and let me know your thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns in the comment section. Like the video if you haven't, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're over 17,500 people and continuing to grow. But for Kellen here on Start Your Systems, we will see you guys in the next video.